Here he is, my guy James Palmer. Get in here. We don't have a lot of time, so we're going to get right to it. Good to see you in Denver. I mean, what a roller coaster of emotions. Bo Nix, done. Teammates rallying. Stiddy getting the start. You're in that room. You're feeling the heat. What's one thing everyone needs to know about Jarrett Stidham ahead of this weekend?
I want everybody to put this in context, right, Kay? Like, I'm not saying Stidham's the best quarterback on the planet, but I'll say this. When Sean took the job, he made 3 moves on the first day of free agency.
Okay.
He upped the offensive line with Mike McGlinchey and Ben Powers, and he signed Jarrett Stidham on the first day of free agency to a 2-year deal. Like, he likes Jarrett a lot. And I was at every day of training camp this past year, and many times, even with Bo Nix out there and solidified as the starter, he was the best quarterback on the field for stretches. Now, again, he's a backup. I had a GM tell me recently if there were 34 teams in the NFL, he'd possibly be a starter. Like, he's in the conversation as one of the best backups in football. So what I was texted this week was, we're going to have a really good plan for him, and he's not going to lack confidence. With that plan, I would say running the football is probably a big part of it. They're going to change a little bit of what they do because he's not as mobile as Bo Nix. But in terms of the confidence, if you talk to any teammates he's had in Vegas, in New England, in Denver, he will mix it up with the first-team defense when he's running the scout team. And guys love it. He is very competitive. I don't think it'll be too big for him. I would say the X factor, though, in this, to me, is Josh McDaniels. Because he was with Josh in New England. He was with Josh in Vegas. I would assume he's sitting there meeting with Mike Vrabel going, Jarrett hates this. Jarrett loves that. Jarrett hates to face this. He loves to face that. And so I would say Josh might be a big part of how this goes, but I love that Sean Payton is the one designing this for him. But he might be shorthanded. That's the other part. Cortland Sutton's the most reliable weapon. You know, Christian Gonzalez most likely would follow him. He was going to do that with Nico Collins last week if he played.
Just run the ball,
Bryant's
Sean.
mostly out. Yeah, Pat Bryant's mostly out. Troy Franklin, the next 2 receivers, most likely out. Run the ball. J.K. Dobbins could be back. That would be huge for Denver.
Do you know anything? Are you hearing anything about him being back?
I think it's early in the week. They were hoping more like the original thing was like Super Bowl if they made it. So this is 2 weeks ahead of schedule, essentially, with that week in between the championship game and the Super Bowl. But I think it's a little early in the week to see, but they opened it, to my understanding, to see if there's a chance.
I struggle with this, like, Stidham thing because it's like, what, like it's hard to be a quarterback? Like, it's like, like it's hard.
He took no reps.
Here comes Stidham, and, like, he's just going to do, like, and then I'm like, what does it say about Bo? I don't like something about that. Like, as a human, I don't like where. So help me out. Maybe I'll put it like this: like, where will Bo be missed the most?
Fourth quarter. You know, got to have it moments. I think Bo has a large enough, honestly, sample size in 2 years that when the game's on the line in the biggest moments, he makes plays. I think he makes those handful of plays that oftentimes we say decide games, Kay. Like, I think that is where Bo really does have the ability to do those things, to make plays with his legs. You know, I talked to Davis Webb recently, and he was like, I think he's the best thrower of the football on the run in the NFL. And I was a roommate in college with Patrick Mahomes. I was in the same room with Josh Allen. Like, that's how good we think he is in terms of his mobility and making throws on the run. So I think that's a big part, and the clutch part is different. And I would say this, there might not be 2 guys in a quarterback room that are closer in terms of just their personal relationship than Jarrett Stidham and Bo Nix. Like that's how close the 2 of them are, wives, everything. So it is going to be an interesting dynamic here in Denver over the next week.
I can't wait to see it, and thanks for telling us all of that. You mentioned this Davis Webb character. You've got some ins with him. Why is he, if you were to be like Indeed.com, James Palmer, why is he the guy for Buffalo?
Man, you know what? I put those pieces together pretty early, standing on that Buffalo sideline before the divisional round, Kay, in Denver. And there he is talking to Josh. They have an unbelievable relationship, I'm told, talking to people in the organization. You know, he knows so many people there. And he's a really intriguing candidate in this head coaching cycle. Now, nobody can interview him right now in person because they're in the AFC Championship game and the rules. But I would expect those, if teams are going to wait and their jobs are still open, multiple teams, I'm told, that are going to want to sit down with him. I think the Raiders are part of that group. I would now throw Buffalo into the mix because I do think they want to go offensive side of the ball. And I think making their quarterback happy is a big part of what they want to do. And I'm not sure if Josh would be happier with anybody else. And he checks all the boxes. And just a quick thing, in his interview, right after playing, right, he gets done playing interviews for the Broncos to be their quarterback coach. He blows Sean Payton away to the point to where Sean calls the car that was driving him to the airport and tells them to turn around and come back so he can sign his contract. That's the imprint that Davis Webb had on the Broncos organization in his interview.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's a good little tidbit. You're really doing your thing, Palmer. I love to hear it.
You know, we know each other. Come on, Kay. This is what we were going to get.
I'm trying to say, listen, we were very crafty about the questions because I knew exactly where I needed to go to get the goods out of you, and it's working out really well so far. I want to ask you about the Chiefs, just because I know you have such good inroads with them and what's going on. So fans, the pulse of the fan, which I know, they don't seem like that. They want someone new, a new thing. I understand what they're saying. Eric Bieniemy's returning as the OC, and it's like an eye roll. Like y'all won 2 Super Bowls with him. He's going to hold this team accountable, receivers, everyone. What does the Bieniemy return mean?
Well, it's been in the works for a while. Okay. I mean, I know Andy called EB after they lost to the Bears, and you know, things got in motion even further. And so this was really the plan that, to my understanding, which was going to happen. And you're right. Have Patrick and EB butted heads at times? Certainly. Do any two people that are very good at what they do, you know, that happen at times? Certainly. Did Eric get probably some of the best moments out of Patrick, including obviously Andy's a big part of it, but over the last several years? Definitely. I mean, I go back and remember when, you know, EB wasn't in the room and wasn't on the staff in that Super Bowl, and I'm talking to all the players at Super Bowl week, and they're like, yeah, Eric's back at practice this week. Remember that? Like, Andy just brought him back when he didn't have a job. And so there's always been this relationship in this aspect of how Andy and Eric work together, and how Eric's called 2-minute or end of half and different things that they've done. I just think they went back and go, well, what worked really well during this essentially dynasty? And Andy's still such a big part of the offense. You know what I mean? You're not going to change it entirely because Patrick has such an ownership to it that he brings so much to the table during the week and things he knows within it. He didn't want to change it.
Would it be fair math to say Patrick wanted EB back?
I don't know that for sure. But I would say that Patrick's played really good football under Eric. I would say that.
So maybe he's gone and maybe there is a world where he sort of welcomed the...
Yeah. I mean, listen, we have enough of a track record and evidence that Brett Veach and Andy Reid have included Patrick in everything, whether that's draft picks, whether that's...
I mean, you mentioned his ownership. You said Patrick's ownership of the offense, so that's why I was
so I would assume
that.
No decision is made without, you know, his knowledge or his blessing.
Davis Webb is like 30 years old.
Yeah. And he checks kind of two boxes,
he'd be the youngest coach in the NFL, and that's what you think that Josh needs?
I mean, I think what Josh needs is an offensive mind that's going to stay with him through his 30s. What I think is the Bills lost this opportunity. There was this kind of like, they were loose, Kay, on the sideline pregame, but there was also this kind of like edge, like there's no Patrick, there's no Lamar, there's no Joe. We can beat both teams if we beat Denver. We can get to the Super Bowl. We're running out of time with Josh. I think that number 30 is huge in the NFL. And he turns 30, I think, in May. And I think they looked at it going, how do we get the most out of that? And we want to just kind of focus on the offensive side of the ball. That's a guess. They could go defense, who knows, and get an OC that has a great relationship with Josh. But I think they'd like somebody be implanted with him, as
like
we're just talking about Kansas City.
He's a year older than Josh. A year older.
A BFF, yeah, totally.
He needs a BFF,
you know?
That's what you think.
Yeah. I think so. They both love golf. I think they like golf. I don't know. Yeah.
I love this for Davis Webb. He's the youngest coach. We're getting younger and younger. We love to see it. I wanted to ask you very quickly. I talked to TJ Ward yesterday, and he's like,
oh my God, boss man?
Yeah, he's like, put in Mills, like what's going, like CJ, he said he has a virus or an infection with these intercepts. Like he was very candid about it. It was a thing.
Like contagion?
Yeah, but he also said it wasn't like life-ending. Like it's like, but he wanted to see the backup. And is there a quarterback conversation happening in Houston?
I don't think so. I think there was so much new, so much change. You lost Joe Mixon, who was a Pro Bowl running back. You couldn't run the football. Outside of Nico Collins, you changed the rest of the receiver room with a bunch of young guys. You changed the offensive, not just coordinator, the entire philosophy. It was a Shanahan system with Bobby Slowick. A lot's determined pre-snap, and you know where you're going with the football, boop, boop, boop. And CJ wanted more onus at the line of scrimmage. He wanted more on his plate mentally. This is kind of what he asked for. That's what Nick Caley brought. And it was completely different what they were running. I'd let this grow together. There still are enough executives around the league and decision makers, Kay, I've talked to, they're like, he's in the top half of the league. Now, I would say if you go back and watch that game, his confidence was shot in that game. I mean, there were some throws in the second half, and I was texting with some people this morning, like throws were there, and he saw them, and he looked at them, and he went away from him, and he checked down. And so I think that was a confidence aspect, whether it's the weather, whether it's the O-line, whether it's just the turnovers early in the game. I do think he's their guy. But I do think, the contract talk is probably a little bit different. Oof. You're more in the conversation as Bryce is with Carolina. You're getting the 5th year, but what do you do? Right. But I do think he is their guy for sure. And I thought Davis did a great job as we're having this backup quarterback discussion of how important and valuable they are. He got them to the playoffs. He helped get them to the playoffs. But CJ, to my understanding, is their guy.
Do you think the Patriots have a chance?
Oh, yeah.
You think they're going to win?
I mean, you have a backup quarterback that literally has not taken a snap all season, and he has barely,
everyone's making it sound like it's so easy. He's going to be fine.
No, I just wanted to say, I'm excited to see it because of these things.
It's everyone.
Yeah, these traits and these little nuggets, I'm excited to see Stiddy go out there and play. I talked to him after he got the news, and he was like, "Oh, here we go."
I can't wait.
And so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting.
That Josh McD thing I had not thought of, and I don't love that for my Broncos.
Yeah, if it was another team, I think it'd actually be a better fit.
Yeah,
to go against.
I don't like that. And stop with this Cortland, just that. Be a little more rah-rah Broncos, please. We love you, James Palmer.
My house is that. My wife is a diehard Broncos fan.
We can get you on the Athletic Scoop City podcast on 89 with Steve Smith. Where don't you work, James Palmer?
I sit right here all day long.
Yeah. Gosh, I should go to that game this weekend.
Come on out.
Oh, my gosh. All right,
Come on
we'll
out.
see.
Let's go.
See you soon.